championship series. It starts tonight on Fox, the Tigers and the Red Sox. And now welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck, Tim McCarver, Kenny Rosenthal. Both are coming up. This should be some series. We're so excited to bring it to you on Fox. I think at the beginning of the year, it seemed like the Detroit Tigers were destined to play at this time of the season. Their lineup stacked, their rotation stacked, very good. The Boston Red Sox, who knew? They bring in John Farrell, his first year as manager here in Boston, a team that finished in dead last place in the AL East a year ago. And now look at them. They have the home field advantage in this ALCS because of their regular season record. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Great.
Let's talk about the Tigers, and let's talk about power. You think about Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder, a team that hits a lot of home runs. Only 3 in the division series. Why are they in this ALCS?
Well, power comes in many forms. It comes with the bats, and it also comes with the arms. And you'd be hard-pressed to find 4 better arms than the rotation for the Detroit Tigers. Anibal Sanchez, a power changeup that he'll feature tonight. The other guys, Scherzer, Verlander, and Pfister, however, power fastball.
All right, so let's stick with the whole power thing. It's not just power with the Boston Red Sox anymore. This group is dangerous at the top of their lineup. They have a lot of personality, and they get things going on the bases.
Yeah, these are not your father's Red Sox. In fact, at the beginning of the lineup with Ellsbury and Shane Victorino, what they did to the Tampa Bay Rays, check that note down at the bottom. They reached base safely 20 times in 4 games. That's a lot.
So let's set it up. It's the Boston Red Sox who got past the Tampa Bay Rays in 4 games. Here they are in the ALCS. It's the Detroit Tigers who came from behind to force a 5th game in Oakland. Got by the A's in a thriller behind Verlander. That's your matchup. Detroit and Boston, ALCS, starts tonight.
Man, what a game 5.
You didn't think we'd make it.
But we did.
I just did my thing.
Well, now you are in our house.
Lineup for Jimmy Leland and the Detroit Tigers, brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. Austin Jackson leads it off in center. Torrey Hunter bats second, and right Miguel Cabrera, who hit the decisive home run in game 5 out in Oakland, hits third, the game's best hitter. Prince Fielder cleans up at first. The DH is Victor Martinez. Johnny Peralta in left. Omar Infante at second base. Alex Avila does the catching, and Jose Iglesias, a product of the Red Sox farm system, traded mid-year to the Tigers, bats ninth. Opening pitch will be brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Home plate umpire in his 8th LCS is Joe West in his 36th year umpiring in Major League Baseball. He's joined by Rob Drake, Ron Kolpa, Alfonso Marquez at third. Dale Scott is in left, and out in right, Dan Iasonia. And they go over the ground rules here, which we got a briefing on before today's game. And just a refresher, because when you look at the wall and the outfield dimensions here at Fenway Park, where they've been playing baseball since 1912, and you start looking at yellow lines, and if the ball's to the left of the yellow line, it's in play. If it's to the right, it's out of the park, and the pesky pole and everything else that goes into it. There's a lot to know, and we will hopefully not have any issues with those ground rules as we get through this ALCS. How did the Tigers get here to this ALCS? Well, you know about Fielder and Cabrera and what they do with the bats. This group up front with the arms, and they set a league record for strikeouts by a staff. And look at the strikeouts per 9 innings pitched.
Wow.
And then in October, the Tigers win the division series down 2-1. They come back and win it over the A's. They did it to the A's again. And those pitchers so good, and that's carried over into October. They rode Verlander out of the rotation in Game 5. They rode Max Scherzer, who will get the ball in Game 2 tomorrow, out of the bullpen to help get him to Game 5. And here's John Lester, Tim, who is clearly the ace of this Red Sox rotation.
I should say so. Last year, he was 3-10 at Fenway Park. Think about that. And this year, he's turned it around 8-1. A rough first half and then a dynamic second half. That's Salty right there, staying out of the middle of the plate. That's Jared Saltalamacchia, the catcher, the other catcher for the Red Sox, as David Ross is behind the plate tonight. We asked John Farrell why right-hander against right-hander. He said they worked very well in late September, beating the Tigers 2-1. And he wanted Ross back there for his defense.
It was a September game. As Tim said, 9 strikeouts in that game for Lester. 1 run, 8 hits, 7 innings pitched. John Farrell is about as straightforward a manager as you're going to find. You could say the same really for Jim Leland, but Farrell in his first year coming here back to Fenway Park after spending a couple of seasons in Toronto has got his team in the ALCS. And there is Jim Leyland, who's got his Tigers in the ALCS for the 3rd straight year. This is a good matchup, folks. And for a report on his slugger, Miguel Cabrera, let's go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Well, Joe, Cabrera's hip and abdomen problems first surfaced in late July, but hitting coach Lloyd McClendon told me that his real issue began August 29th when he slid awkwardly into second base. Cabrera injured his groin in that play, and after that struggled to generate torque and hit for power. He had 11 home runs in August, but only 1 in September. But McClendon said he's getting better every day, as evidenced by his 2-run homer in Game 5 of the division series.
Yeah, he's dangerous inside, according to David Ross still. Where the Red Sox believe he's vulnerable would be going to right and power the other way because of the groin issue.
I think Jake Peavy, who will go on Wednesday against Doug Fister, said it best. He said, we're going to pitch Miguel Cabrera like he's healthy.
And right now we'll see how Lester pitches to Austin Jackson. Start the night with a strike. John Lester led this Red Sox team with his 15 wins. A winner over Tampa Bay in the division series. Throwing hard here at the start on a cool night. It's only mid-50s. But with the breeze that's blowing in from center field, it feels colder than that. 1-1 pitch to Jackson. Strike 2. I'm sure every time Austin Jackson looks up, it feels like there are 2 strikes. Struck out 13 times in the divisional series, and he has struck out 37% of the time in his postseason career. Not good for a guy who has great speed. Just put it in play, use your legs, and try and make something happen. And Jackson during the regular year hit .272.
And that's why he only stole 8 bases. The Tigers, as a matter of fact, will not run. 35 stolen bases, the worst in the majors. 30th.
Jackson up there in a battle. Jim Leyland, 8th year in the corner of the dugout for the Tigers. 68 years old. Pirates, Marlins, Rockies, Detroit since 2006. 1-2 pitch. 1 out.
That is as hard as John Lester can throw the ball. Good spot, too, to get Jackson. 2-seam fastball.
We've seen Lester a lot, but I don't remember a time where the ball was exploding out of his hand like it is in that small sample against Austin Jackson. Here's Torrey Hunter. 96 from Lester, fouled straight back. Hunter had a great year. And this is just a really solid Major League Baseball player. 7th in the American League, hitting .304 during the regular season, had 3 hits against the A's in the division series. And he goes from hitting last year in front of Albert Pujols in the number 3 spot with the Angels. The hitting in front of the game's best hitter, Miguel Cabrera, in the 3 spot for the Tigers.
Foul balls tell you a lot. The foul balls off Austin Jackson and Torrey Hunter off to the right, meaning and confirming that Lester is throwing very hard.
2 out.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Hunter can't lay off of it.
How'd you like our little pregame visit with David Ross, the catcher for the Boston Red Sox?
Now, he's such an engaging guy, as is Saltalamacchia. Both of them. David Ross with that beard under his mask. So the Red Sox trying to continue their fear the beard approach to playing the game.
Here's Miguel Cabrera with 2 out, nobody on. And he flicks it down the right field line. It is just foul. And it doesn't take much to get one out of the park right down the line, and that almost put Detroit on top.
Remember Jake Peavy's line, pitch him like he's healthy. Jake saying in the Boston Globe today that there's no way you can just throw him away and make him hit the lazy fly ball the other way because of pesky pole. He can hit it out there too, and almost did.
He's got great hands. He may not have the drive he has to right because of the groin issue, but I mean, he just flicked that ball down the line. Almost hit a home run. Lester stays away, a ball and a strike.
Two of the elements of hitting, having quick hands and waiting. Allow the ball to develop so you can read what pitch it is. He can do it better than anybody in the game. He might be able to do it better than anybody I've ever seen.
That is a rocket into left field. It bangs off the wall on one hop. Cabrera can't run really at all, and even though it scored it a bit away from Daniel Nava, it's just a 2-out single. This was a laser.
It went out faster than it came in. We talked about how Lester is throwing the ball hard. Cabrera with just a tracer to left field.
It just points out when you watch Nava, who's used to playing the monster here at Fenway Park, how playing left is not that easy.
Not here
in this stadium. And Johnny Peralta will be playing left field tonight for the Tigers, typically a shortstop. Here's Fielder. Line drive into center for a base hit. Ellsbury knocks it down, keeps it in front of him, and it's first and second, 2 out on back-to-back singles by Cabrera and Fielder. And 2 rockets off the 3 and 4 hitters for the Tigers.
A good play by Ellsbury because he blocked the ball. Actually, the ball hit his right hip. I think that was a good play inadvertently. I'm not sure Ellsbury wanted to be that risky in center field. Fastball on the outside part of the plate. 2 straight line drives.
After 2 straight strikeouts to start this first inning, and it's an RBI chance for Victor Martinez, who is red hot. 9 out of 20 in the series against the A's. And he could put Detroit on top here in game 1, and Lester steps off. See what he's done in his career against John Lester. 6th highest among active players, and a guy who over the last half of the year was hitting well over 350. Quick visit out to the mound from Ross after the back-to-back hits. Take a look at the defense. Nava in left, Ellsbury in center, Victorino in right, Middlebrooks, Drew, Pedroia, Napoli on the infield. Ross does the catching for Lester. With 2 out, Martinez takes a strike. Victor was here with the Red Sox in 2009, 2010. Missed last year with a knee injury. An important piece not there. And the Tigers were swept out of the World Series by the Giants. 0-1 pitch. Ball and a strike.
Victor Martinez's years here in Boston has a lot of close friends on this team. John Lester, his teammate, in fact, he caught him quite a bit, and that's what earned Victor Martinez a 4-year contract with the Detroit Tigers. Had a great year in 2012 or 2011, and then missed last year with a bad knee.
Here comes a 1-1 from Lester. Up to get it at 93, and now a 1-2 count on Victor Martinez.
There are 2 strikes and 2 outs, and Victor Martinez realizing that Cabrera is trying to get a good lead at second base. Not running well. The minute the ball's in the strike zone, he should take off. 2-2, the players call it.
And now the count is 2-2. 2 on, 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes against Victor Martinez, who with runners in scoring position in his postseason career, hitting .385. Just missed outside, a full count.
Martinez with great eyes right here, but that ball was outside. A good take by Martinez. And now Cabrera will be running at second base.
Big advantage for a guy with the injured groin and no speed. Breaking ball, we haven't seen many in this first inning. A lot of heat from Lester. And Martinez fouled it away. Count stays full.
They threw Martinez a curveball earlier in the count. The only other one was to Torrey Hunter on a strikeout.
Drew, inning over. Tigers lead 2 in the first. Sanchez going to work here in game 1. That can run and can put a bunt down. Part of the approach with the injured Cabrera over at third base on a cold night could be to test him. Trying to drop a bunt down. The count 1 ball, 1 strike.
Cabrera trying to negate that by playing very, very shallow, which opens up the hole on the left side. Ellsbury can hit the ball between the shortstop and the third baseman.
That's strike 2. Jacoby Ellsbury is a free agent to be. And for a guy who has in certain years had a tough time staying healthy and answering the bell every day, he has done nothing but add to his value during the regular season And in October in the divisional series, he is a handful. And he strikes out to start the night. 92-mile-per-hour moving fastball, one away. Take a look at the defense for the Tigers. Really the only guy you need to focus on, because everybody is in their typical spot, is Johnny Peralta out in left field. Started the year as their shortstop. Had the 50-game suspension because of his ties to that biogenesis scandal. And so he's in left field to get his bat in the lineup with Jose Iglesias, the shortstop. Victorino now. These Boston fans have come to love a guy who spent a brief time with the Dodgers but made his name with the Phillies and won it all in Philadelphia in 08.
And also spent the first 4 months of this year as a switch hitter. Then he came up with a left hamstring problem. He didn't want to bat left-handed, so he's been batting right-handed since early August. And since that time, he's been hit 19 times.
That is just down and in, I guess. Avila double clutch, throwing it back to Sanchez, thinking he had strike two. Instead, it's ball two. On deck, Pedroia. Pitching coach Jeff Jones. Not blinking, watching the action as Victorino fouls it 2-2.
When you think about it, one of the reasons that Victorino has been hit that many times, he's not used to seeing tailing fastballs coming inside from right-handed batters. Left-handers don't do that. Any tailing fastball is unusual to him, so consequently, that's why he's been hit that many times.
He went around. The play is live, and he's on with one out here in the first. So a guy who was hit 4 times during the division series tried to check his swing. Joe West, Tim, the veteran umpire, immediately said it was a swing. Victorino took off, and he's on with one out.
Now the ball stayed down on Alex Avila. A lot of times catcher is looking for that ball to bounce up. It stayed down, breaking ball. So a strikeout and a wild pitch. Randall Sanchez.
Opponents this year were 25 of 26 trying to steal bases against Sanchez. Victorino stole 21 during the regular year, was caught only 3 times. In fact, Boston as a group caught only 19 times all year while they stole 123.
That's the best stolen base percentage since 1951. Over 96% of the time they made it. So look for Victorino to run.
Pedroia at the plate. Dustin during the regular season 10th best in the AL, hit .301. Check on the runner Victorino from a guy in Sanchez that has a tough time keeping runners close. Dustin Pedroia has been involved in 14 ALCS games. He's hit .345. That's down and in 2-0. There's a strike, 2-1. Pedroia had a torn ligament in his left thumb. It happened on opening day, so his power numbers were down. But for this 30-year-old second baseman, not a big guy, 5'8", 165 pounds. He lets it fly at the plate. There goes Victorino. Throw down, not in time.
Pedroia is such a good hitter that he saw the break that Victorino had, and it may have been a hit and run, but he elected not to swing at it. Right-handed batters can do that. If they see the runner at first with a good break, even if it's a hit and run, don't swing at it, give him the base.
The 3-1 from Sanchez. 2 on, 1 out. And David Ortiz walk into the plate as we give you tonight's 4 keys to the game.
For the Tigers, support your pitchers. Even though they beat the Oakland Athletics, they did not swing the bats well. They did in the first inning of tonight's game, however, and the Red Sox try to take advantage of Fenway Park. They have the best record in the American League, 53-28 here in Boston.
And 2-0 this postseason. Here's Ortiz. He is now at the top of the list as far as designated hitters, where he ranks all time. He starts the list. Hit 30 home runs this season. Takes a ball.
Jose Iglesias was talking to Miguel Cabrera, reminding him that on a ball hit to you, it's unlikely that it'll be hit to him. But remember, I'm covering the bag, because second baseman Omar Infante is playing Ortiz to pull. Cabrera, on the other hand, can't shift farther that way, because if he does, Victorino will steal third. All the things going on here in the first inning.
Caught the outside corner, ball and a strike. Yeah, if Cabrera shifts any more to his left with that bad groin, he'd be hard pressed to get to the bag anyway.
That's exactly right. So that's why Iglesias has to hold Victorino closer to second base than he normally would.
Too far outside, 2-1. David Ortiz has 50 RBIs in his postseason career, 6th best all time, and 14 career postseason home runs. Tried to hold up, could not. 2-2.
Good pitch from Sanchez. A slider that just dived out of the strike zone, and Ortiz went too far. Sanchez striking out 202 batters this year. He can't overpower you in the strike zone, but it's the art of deception with that power changeup.
The 2-2. Full count.
I don't think that John Farrell will send the runners. I think you give Ortiz a chance to hit here. Allow things to be quiet behind the pitcher.
Check swing, he went. And David Ortiz strikes out. They appeal down to the third base umpire, Alfonso Marquez. And David Ortiz was shocked to find out he's the inning's second out.
Ortiz thinking that the second and third strike, he didn't go around. I don't agree with him. But of course, agreement's not part of the deal. That's too far, I think.
And the third strikeout of this first inning. Here's a reaction by Pedroia. He's at first. Victorino at second. 2 out now for Mike Napoli. Big first year in a Red Sox uniform. Turns away from ball 1. You get a lot of good. 23 home runs, 92 RBIs, 259 average for a slugger, but 187 strikeouts, a franchise record.
Speaking of records, it doesn't happen too often, but Anibal Sanchez has struck out 3 and there are 2 outs.
He struck out Ellsbury to start it, struck out Victorino on a wild pitch. A walk to Pedroia.
Oh, Orville. Orville overall. What?
He'd be the second to do it. He's 1-0 on Napoli, 2 on, 2 out. Sanchez throwing hard. 2-0 the count. Strike 1. Sanchez originally in the Red Sox organization. Good pitch, caught the strike zone, down and away. Behind on the count, faced with 2 on, 2 out. And now 3-1. Now full count.
Funny, we talked about the 3 strikeouts and only 2 outs. Mike Napoli struck out 187 times. Boy, what a great shot of that changeup from Sanchez. That, by the way, broke a Boston Red Sox record, 187 strikeouts.
Struck him out. And Sanchez strikes out 4 in the first inning. Move over, Orville overall. You've got company. After 1 in game 1, Tigers and Red Sox no score. Pulled the trigger too soon. Now he's tied up inside for strike 2.
That's a great call by David Ross and a good pitch by Lester. Normally a guy pops a ball foul that far and you don't come back inside. It's the least area of home plate at which Infante is looking inside.
And he goes back in there for the strikeout, 2 out.
David Ross takes about as much upon himself as a catcher. He is very, very conscientious. Good breaking ball from Lester. And pitchers love that. You hear that term often. Pitch selection, pitch calling. This guy's one of the best. Not a lot of people know it.
Now Alex Avila, who hit .227 during the regular season, 2 hits in the series against the A's. 2 out of 15. That one runs inside for ball 1. Alex, another guy who's had a tough time staying healthy, was battling through injuries the last couple of years, about as healthy as he's been in a while. Batting in the number 8 spot. Left-handed batter, left-handed pitcher, tough assignment. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's a 2-seam fastball riding in on the hands and under the bat of Alex Avila.
On the outside corner, strike 2. Got him looking. 8 of the 13 batters that have stepped to the plate here in game 1 have struck out tonight on a cold night at Fenway. No score after 1.5. Struck out 4 in the first inning. Got a chance to because Victorino reached on a wild pitch. Deals with Nava. Daniel Nava takes a strike. So good against right-handed pitching this year. Hit .322, only .248 against lefties. He's a switch hitter. And here's a guy who has turned himself into a .300 hitter at the big league level. Hit .303. Takes ball 1.
Game comes easily for some. Most you have to struggle to be good. And Daniel Nava has certainly done all of that.
2-1.
Up and down from the minor leagues to the major leagues, having a good year, and one of those guys that you feel good about the things that have happened to him.
Drew will follow, then Middlebrooks. That'll get out of play. 2-2. Red Sox lineup on a team that led baseball, scoring 853 runs for John Farrell. And they got a lot of production out of the bottom of the lineup. Most RBIs across baseball, the 6 through 9 spots. For the Sox in 2013.
That's why when you talk about Boston, you talk about balance. Nothing top heavy about their lineup.
Strikeout starts the inning, and that's 5 already for Sanchez. And he is certainly pitching like an ace.
Out of the strike zone, and you'll see that tonight. Most of his pitches on which he gets strikeouts are out of the strike zone. That a breaking ball that just dives out, and Nava down on strikes.
Now Stephen Drew, who is on a 1-year deal here in Boston, got off to a slow start, had a concussion during spring training. And he watched Jose Iglesias, who is now the shortstop for the Tigers, play well when he got a shot. In fact, he hit so well. The Red Sox moved Iglesias over to third base to get his bat in the lineup. But Drew had a good second half. And he has played well enough to have quite a few teams, I would imagine, call at the end of this year trying to lock him up on a long-term deal.
67 RBIs out of the shortstop position. That's big.
And 13 home runs. Takes the ball inside. 2-1. Missed the inside corner. Good zip from Sanchez, but 3-1. A 1-out walk.
We've had 7 hitters for the Red Sox come to the plate. We have seen no one make contact yet.
Will Middlebrooks now, the number 8 man, who had 3 hits in the divisional series, but hit just .227. Red Sox saw a lot out of this young third baseman last year. 15 home runs and limited at bats. But this year a different story. Did hit 17, but he was injured. He spent some time in the minor leagues trying to work out his swing. I thought they were going to get a little more consistent production out of Middlebrooks, who still trying to figure it out. A check on Drew, who stole 6 bases during the regular season. Popped up down the right field line, headed for the seats. And it's 0-2.
One thing a young hitter, when he's sent down more than once in a season, particularly after some success like Middlebrooks had last year, it's tough on your confidence. He credits Gary DeSarcina, the AAA manager of the Red Sox, the manager of Pawtucket, for really helping him in that department. Especially when you got a guy like Jose Iglesias in front of you. And then Iglesias gets traded, he's brought up, and for the time being, he has the job.
You never know how it's going to come back around, but on July 30th, 3-team deal, the Red Sox got Jake Peavy, was the primary guy. The Tigers get Jose Iglesias, a shortstop. Here's a fly ball into left. Back is Peralta. His first test out there. 2 out. And with 2 out, the batter will be David Ross. Avisail Garcia, the outfielder, young outfielder, went to the White Sox with 3 minor leaguers. We figure to see Jake Peavy in Game 4 for Boston in Detroit. We should see Jose Iglesias throughout. At shortstop for the Tigers. If not Iglesias, Peralta, who just made that put out in left. Here's Ross, takes the ball outside. These guys are all growing beards, and David Ross was shocked to see how his came in with all the gray. He's like, you try to look young for the front office, so they think you're younger than you are, and I got this Duck Dynasty looking beard going on.
Yeah, when you're 37, beards look different.
But all for the team.
Fear of the beards. For the Red Sox, it's really fear of the players wearing the beards. They can play.
Count 1-2 on Ross, who hit just .216 during the regular season.
Dan Shaughnessy of the Boston Globe calls them the Fuzzy Fenway Warriors.
1 on, 2 out. 96 from Sanchez, throwing every bit as hard as John Lester in the count. 2-2.
We just love to watch Sanchez pitch. In and out, little of this, little of that. Breaking balls and changeups out of the strike zone. Play on the hitter's aggressiveness. Fastball away.
That tailed back. Now it's Sanchez who takes 2 steps away. That looked like it caught a lot of the plate. Let's see if it was high enough. It is on the Fox tracks. And you can see why Sanchez thought the inning was over.
David Ross knows he has new life here.
Wonder if Sanchez will go talk to Joe West at the end of the inning. Runner will go. That's Drew. 3-2 pitch to Ross. The walk puts 2 on with 2 out. brings in Jacoby Ellsbury, who drove in 53 runs during the regular season.
You think about Verlander, you think about Max Scherzer, two hard throwers, as we said in the opening, power arms. And yet, Anibal Sanchez this year set a Detroit record by striking out 17 Atlanta Braves on the 26th of April. That was the night before we did a game. That was only in 8 innings. 17 strikeouts in 8 innings.
And you can see why. His stuff is dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
But a chance here for Boston with 2 on, 2 out. It's up to Ellsbury. Strike 1. Sanchez was signed by the Red Sox as an international free agent in 2001. Traded to the Marlins from Boston with Hanley Ramirez for Josh Beckett, Mike Lowell, Guillermo Mota in November of 05. And then traded to Detroit from the Marlins with Omar Infante last July. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fastball from Sanchez, strike 2.
Second time through the order, you start looking for the off-speed stuff, and he throws a 95-mile-an-hour fastball by you. 2, in fact.
So Sanchez, who was so close to getting out of the inning on that 2-2 pitch to Ross, called ball 3, then the walk, now has to deal with Ellsbury. Runners at first and second, 2 out, and a 2-2 count. Iglesias gets the out at first.
Great play by Iglesias.
Knocked it down, thought about second, and then had to carry on to first after another juggle. Good work by the former Red Sox shortstop. No score after 2. Iglesias first up, made that good play at short on the hot shot by Ellsbury to end the second. Takes a ball high from Lester. Young player born in Cuba and just bursting with confidence. Here's that play to end the second.
Speaking of confidence, you like to concentrate when you're an infielder on balls on the ground, and Stephen Drew running from second to third could have caused that problem, but a very good recovery by a guy with quick hands. And you're right, we had a chance to meet with him before the game, Joe, and he is very calmly confident. I guess that's and speaks very good English too.
When he came to the States and as a young player in the minor leagues, he requested to have a roommate from the States. Here's a shot down the left field line that's hooked foul. He said most Latin guys stay with Latin guys for good reason. I wanted to be with somebody who spoke English so I could learn the language, and it's remarkable how well he speaks English. Talking to him before the game about a specific play he made against the Yankees. Just told him how impressive it was. He said, which one? I made a lot. Here's a pop-up right side. In to make the play, Victorino, 1 out. And that's now 5 straight retired by Lester. It'll bring in Austin Jackson, who struck out his first time. With the bases empty, Jackson fouls it away. A reminder that for coverage of this game in Spanish, please tune in to Fox Deportes. Nothing in 1, the count on Austin Jackson. That is a base hit into left, hard hit. 1 hop out to Nava, and the Tigers have their 3rd hit of the night.
We talked earlier about David Ross and his pitch selection behind the plate. I don't think that was a good call. And the reason for that is you've been knocking the bat out of Austin Jackson's hand, his first and second up, and now you throw him a curveball. And what that does is speed up the bat head. I think David would think that through again if he had that choice to make.
Here's Torrey Hunter, hit 17 home runs during the regular season. First year in Detroit. Takes a ball inside. Looks down at third base coach Tom Brookins.
They could hit and run here.
2-0.
Remember conversation with Mike Trout of the Anaheim Angels earlier in the year, and Mike telling me what a help Torrey Hunter was to him in his year last year, signing with the Tigers as a free agent.
Late with that swing, it's 2-1.
Trout said that it seemed like every time he was on second base with nobody out, that Torrey Hunter moved him to third or hit a fly ball to right field or drove him in. And not only did he help him as far as a player was concerned, but what he did off the field too. It's a typical comment about Torrey Hunter from almost everybody, almost universal in the game.
38-year-old outfielder. Takes inside, 3-1.
I think he'll be a big league manager someday.
Came up with the Twins in '97. Was in Minnesota through 2007, then the Angels. And now Detroit in a good first year.
That's if he wants to be a big league manager. These guys today, they have to take such big cuts if you're going to be a manager.
Here's a double play ball through. Pedroia, double play. Scoreless through 2.5. Two friends before tonight's game, Ortiz and Cabrera. Hooking up. Red Sox, Tigers, no score. First. Then stole a base. Leading it off. 2 quick strikes. Victorino, then Pedroia, then Ortiz. If anybody gets on, Napoli. Fouled away. Shane Victorino, in games that he played, hit .345 during the Red Sox 78 wins when he was in the lineup. .213 in the 48 losses when he was available. So in that important number 2 spot, when he gets on, when he gets hits, this team wins. As the count stays 0-2.
When he got on base for the Philadelphia Phillies, those Phillies won. Terrific career.
Good center fielder. He's become a really good right fielder and a tough right field here at Fenway.
Yeah, the Red Sox really have 2 center fielders patrolling the outfield.
That will get out of play. We'll give you the Dodge Durango trivia question as we play here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Which player holds the postseason record for consecutive games reaching base? Another 0-2 pitch. Got him on the inside corner. Strikeout number 6. And Victorino let Joe West hear it when he was called out on that pitch. And those two had some words on Victorino's way back to the dugout.
Yeah, it was a changeup. It's designed to be outside. It stayed inside. And Joe West, to his credit, stayed with it. It was close.
Pedroia into center. Easy for Jackson, 2 out. Well, you never know going into a postseason series how the game 1 starters will be, and I would say for the most part, first of all, I think Sanchez is on about as good as Sanchez can be, maybe even more so than Lester.
Yeah, we mentioned that game on the 26th of April where he struck out 17, setting a Tiger record. That was in 8 innings. 17 Ks in 8 innings. Now I think back to when Roger Clemens struck out 20 here, the most ever by any pitcher in a 9-inning game here at Fenway Park. Then he matched it about a decade later.
Ortiz took a ball. He struck out on a check swing on a 3-2 pitch back in the 1st inning. That one gets away from Avila, but it's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Joe, that, by the way, we're kidding about Orville overall. He struck out 4 Tigers in the 1st inning in the deciding game of the 1908 World Series for the Cubs at Bennett Park in Chicago. I beg your pardon, in Detroit. And that was the site of Tiger Stadium at Michigan and Trumbull.
Easy play for Miguel Cabrera. Down go the Red Sox. 1, 2, 3 into the 4th we go. Better than fielder than Victor Martinez. Miguel had just 2 extra base hits in September. The home run he hit, a 2-run shot in the 4th inning of Game 5 was his first since the 17th of September. But they don't come any bigger than that in support of Justin Verlander. The 0-2. Chopper to Pedroia. 1 out. John Farrell, first-year manager of the Red Sox, visited with him during the break. First question was about being pleased with what he's seeing out of John Lester so far.
Yeah, very much so, Joe. I think even going back to that 1st inning, he makes a key 3-2 cutter on the outside part of the plate to Victor to get out of that inning. But for the most part, he's staying ahead in the count and looking like he's got good stuff here tonight.
We've seen some good swings already from Miguel Cabrera. People can talk about a strained groin, whatever it might be, but there isn't a more dangerous hitter in any lineup than him.
No, there really isn't. Time has proven that year over year, and might be the best hitter on the planet right now. So we know we're up against, particularly the entire middle of this lineup, from Victor, all the way on up to Miggy.
And on the other side, it looks like you have your hands full with Sanchez. He's on too.
Well, there's no doubt. He's got 3 pitches going for strikes, and that changeup can be lethal. And he's been able to mix and match and change some speeds and keep some guys off balance.
No beard for you, huh?
No, not tonight.
All right, thanks.
Okay, guys.
John Farrell has set such a tone from day 1 when he came into spring training, trying to erase what was just a dreadful 2012 for the Boston Red Sox franchise. And it happened quickly. Best record in the American League, and he's a big reason why.
28 game difference this year compared to last year. They won 69 last year, 97 this year. So you got to be careful with Fielder in this ballpark. He has tremendous power the other way when he goes that way.
3-1. Ken Rosenthal is with us. Ken, John Farrell's done a heck of a job here in Boston.
He has, Joe, and I was talking with David Ortiz during the division series, and Ortiz could not stop gushing about Farrell. He says the thing he loves most about Farrell is the way he builds up confidence in his players, and that guys like Daniel Nava, previously unheralded, have blossomed in part because of the faith that Farrell has shown in them.
Here's one down the left field line, but foul. A guy who was a pitching coach here under Terry Francona from 2007 through 2010. Spent 2 years in Toronto as a manager, and once Francona was gone, the experiment with Bobby Valentine, the year with Valentine, didn't work. The Red Sox could not wait to get Farrell back in Boston. Good decision. 3-2 pitch. Still a full count. Pedroia to his right, gets the high hop and gets the out. 2 down.
You know, you mentioned Terry Francona, Joe, and John Farrell. Back in 1988, the Cleveland Indians team photo featured Ron Washington, the manager of the Texas Rangers, Bud Black, the manager of San Diego, Charlie Manuel was relieved of his duties by the Phillies, Ryan Sandberg taking over, and John Farrell and Terry Francona not pictured there.
Francona, who was such a good hitter when he was with the Montreal Expos, had a terrible injury
in St. Louis.
Game in St. Louis, and eventually ended up in the Cardinal organization in the minor leagues. What a job Francona did. The guy who hit .311 in 62 games on that 88 Indians team. 0-1 pitch. Victor Martinez takes outside. You talk about changing the culture. Farrell's done that here in Boston, and then Francona did it with the Indians.
Double duty. Yep.
They finished only a game behind Detroit in the Central. Lost that play-in game to Tampa Bay. 2 strikes on Victor Martinez.
You know, to further the Red Sox chances, they're going to have more innings like this, facing Miguel Cabrera with no one on, Prince Fielder with no one on, and Victor Martinez with no one on. They're the big 3 of the Tigers.
Good rip by Martinez. The count stays 1-2. The guy on deck, Johnny Peralta's in the lineup for Jim Leyland, because his veteran Major League manager Leyland said, we need another over-the-wall type bat in this lineup. It took until game 4 and his game-tying 3-run shot. Peralta against the A's for the Tigers' first home run last series. That's in the dirt. 2-2. These two franchises have been playing since 1901. Same league, and this is the first time the Tigers and the Red Sox are meeting in the postseason. The count's full on Victor Martinez. It's kind of hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah. Of course, in the same league prior to 1969.
Yeah, you're not going to face each other.
Right. Two proud franchises that have been around forever.
Full count with 2 out, nobody on. Into right. Victorino. Down go the Tigers. 1-2-3. Some of the sights from game one, which is headed into the bottom of the fourth at Fenway. Scoreless. Pitch. But no hits as Napoli, who struck out back in the first inning, takes strike one. Napoli, then Nava, then Stephen Drew against Anibal Sanchez, who's been terrific.
He can carve you up, I'll tell you.
Here's the 0-1. Ball and strike. This is how Detroit beats you. They do it with their starting rotation. They had a starting pitching ERA of under 3.5, fourth best in baseball, but the top winning percentage. They've had to reinvent and mix and match in their bullpen, and the same can be said really for all four teams that are left. The Red Sox, the Dodgers have had to do it. The Cardinals have had to do it.
Cardinals have done it with that infusion of those young arms. It is extraordinary to see these young men come out of the bullpen, one throwing harder than the other. Cardinals winning game 2, by the way, against the Dodgers, 1-0. Michael Wacha again with the win.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Wacha, the 22-year-old kid, only his 11th major league start. And the guy who got St. Louis past Pittsburgh, facing elimination, taking a no-hitter into the 8th inning in game 4 at PNC Park.
Yeah, look at the Dodgers with runners in scoring position, 1 for 16.
Napoli strikes out. And strikeout number 7 for Sanchez.
He did not want to go, but did. The changeup again, the one that John Farrell was talking about. Devastating.
I mean, we've seen check swings all night.
Yeah, yeah.
John Farrell's reaction to Rob Drake, the first base umpire. No doubt it looked like Napoli went around. He's out number 1 and a strike to Nava. Sanchez struggled in his only start against Oakland. He lost game 3 6-3, allowed 3 home runs in that ball game. But again, a 14-game winner during the regular season, the league's best ERA.
Funny how the game is, Joe. Sanchez gave up 9 home runs all year, and then he gave up 3 against the Oakland A's in less than 6 innings.
He falls behind Nava 2-1. When he did it, he became the first pitcher in Tigers history to allow 3 or more in a single postseason game. When Oakland took a 2-1 series lead, but Detroit took care of the rest. Count 2-2 on Nava. There's Justin Verlander, who won game 5. Held the A's hitless into the 7th. That's strike 3, and that's strikeout number 8. And now Nava talks to Joe West. And we talk football. Fox Sports 1 starts off your Sunday mornings with Fox NFL Kickoff, as the guys get you up to speed on all that's happening around the league. Then turn over to Fox to catch America's #1 pregame show, Fox NFL Sunday, and hear from members of the Saints defense on how they're going to try and stop Tom Brady and the Patriots. And sit down with Ravens linebacker Terrell Suggs about his new role on the team. Get more football tomorrow, beginning at 11 Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1. Saw that matchup, Drew Brees and the Saints, Tom Brady and the Patriots on America's Game of the Week. Late afternoon tomorrow here on Fox. 1-0 pitch. Ball and a strike from Sanchez.
You're kind of figuring out what kind of pattern Sanchez has. He throws the breaking ball for a strike when he's behind in the count. That get me over breaking ball. Then when he's ahead in the count, he throws it out of the strike zone where it looks like a strike and gets a check swing. Again, this guy can carve you up if you're a hitter.
He could strike out the side here in the fourth. He got Napoli, got Nava. Foul ball by Drew, hard hit. That's the hardest hit ball the Red Sox have had all night. In the fifth, bottom half of the order, 6, 7, and 8 for the Tigers in what is now a scoreless game 1. That got away. 2-2. Sanchez strikes out the side and has 9 on the night. Into the fifth. No score at Fenway Park. Back after this from your local Fox station. Our travel day on Monday, and you can check out the NLCS Game 3 on TBS. Here's Peralta leading it off in the fifth inning against John Lester. No score, game 1. First pitch, a strike, and now a swinging strike. Max Scherzer, the pride of Parkway Central in St. Louis, Missouri, checks in from the dugout. How you doing?
Doing great. How about you guys?
Doing great. What are you thinking on a night like this when you're going to tee it up tomorrow against this Red Sox lineup?
Try to do the same thing that Sanchez doing right now.
Here's a shot into left center field. That ball's going to get to the wall, and it's a leadoff double for Johnny Peralta to start the fifth inning.
There we go. We got something going.
You know, you talked about Sanchez. Everybody focuses on your 21 wins, on Verlander and his history and what he did in Game 5. But Sanchez he could be an ace on quite a few staffs around baseball.
Oh, my God, yes. He's so nasty. You're getting to see it tonight. He's got every pitch he can throw, and he throws at different speeds. The way he changes, the speed on the changeups and sliders and fastballs is something I even try to emulate as well.
Do you talk to Sanchez about the changeup? Max Scherzer is one of the best in the American League.
Yeah, we have conversations about it, when to throw it. And I'm crazy how you can throw it 70 miles an hour. I'm like, you're throwing it 88, and all of a sudden you can drop it in there at 74. So I mean, I don't know how he does it.
Runner at second, nobody out. Chance for the Tigers. Napoli throws behind the runner. Out at second is Peralta. And a quick tag by Stephen Drew.
How about that play? You're right on the tag. But how about Napoli playing in for the bunt? Saw Peralta off. And a quick tag, and that's what made Peralta out at second base instead of safe. Great tag by Drew.
Yeah, I don't know if he touched him.
It looked to me like he did.
It was close.
Oh, yeah. Inside thigh. Inside right thigh. But they're playing for the bunt. That's the point. I mean, they're playing for the bunt. Napoli with a very good throw to second base. Remember, he's an ex-catcher, so he's got a good arm. From that angle, it does not look like he tagged him, but from the other one, it looked like he tagged him inside right thigh. Anyway, it was out.
1 on, 1 out. Now a line drive, base hit into right. Off the bat of Alex Avila, kicked out in right field by Victorino, and the throw late to allow Iglesias, the runner Infante, to get over to third. So Infante reaches on the fielder's choice. Avila gets a base hit to right, and we'll see if it's a base hit E9, and it is on Victorino. First and third, one out.
Victorino coming in too hard, and the ball popping out of his glove. You got to play that cautiously because Infante's not going to third base until then. He didn't go to third until Victorino bobbled the ball. Good base running by Infante.
And now it's up to Iglesias. First and third, one out. With Max Scherzer on a headset down in the dugout, and all of a sudden we've got offensive action here in the fifth inning.
I know I'm supposed to look in the camera, but I got to watch this AB.
Okay, you do what you have to do. Iglesias flying to right his first time. Started the year with the Red Sox. Ends the year with the Tigers. Could put his team on top here in game one. Strike one from Lester.
The Red Sox started out in double play position. Drew held his position, but Pedroia snuck in as if to say, well, if Iglesias pushes the ball toward me, I'm going home with the ball.
Heads up play by Napoli in this inning. Factors in. First and third, one out. That gets away. Nobody advances. Strike two on Iglesias, as David Ross corralled it. Infante thought about it at third, stayed put.
He did.
Avila thought about it at first, and he goes back to the bag. First and third, one out. That gets away. Nobody advances. Strike two. 0-2 the count on Jose Iglesias.
See, that's why I gotta be watching it. You get a ball like that, I'm gonna lose a blue eye.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, you just stay alert down there in the dugout, Max. We can't be held responsible for anything like that. First and third, one out, and an 0-2 count on Jose Iglesias, the young shortstop. Tigers trying to jump on top here in the fifth. Ball one.
Victorino very shallow in right field, and properly so. With two strikes, Iglesias has almost no power the other way.
An error by Victorino allowed Infante to go first to third on a hit by Avila. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Fights it off. On deck is Austin Jackson. To third. Middlebrooks to the plate. Got him. 2 out.
Good play by Middlebrooks. No way to turn two. So he elected to come home. Good thinking. Backhanding the ball. Nice. Nicer to come home and to get the lead runner in Infante.
So the Tigers have lost 2 runners on the bases in the inning. First and second, now 2 out. And the batter is Austin Jackson. Max Scherzer, you have that score on your chest, I know, because your Missouri Tigers beat Georgia today.
That's right. I was watching this today, and the big double pass, threw it out there for a touchdown. What a play and what a game.
Yeah, how about that for Missouri in the SEC, a big win in Columbia. Right now, it's up to Austin Jackson for the Tigers. First and second, 2 out. side. That game was in Athens, not Columbia. 0 for 1 on my college football knowledge.
That's what makes it even sweeter.
Yeah, my gosh, what a big win. For Gary Pinkel and the Missouri Tigers. That's on the outside corner, ball and a strike. 2 on, 2 out.
Yeah, we got to get the Tigers to go 2-0 today.
Yeah, the Missouri Tigers, the Detroit Tigers, and you get the ball tomorrow night, Max Scherzer.
Yep, that'll be fun.
Fun on a Sunday night here at Fenway Park. Here comes a 1-1. Upstairs. Did you have any fun coming in out of the bullpen in Game 4 of the division series, Max?
You think? That was a blast in a weird way. You know, to be able to load the bases up like that with the season on the line, you know, I just wanted to find a way to somehow get some pop-ups, and fortunately enough, I was actually able to get out of that inning unscathed, and that was a rush.
Yeah, a couple of strikeouts and a fly out to left center. And there's strike 2.
Max, when was the last time you had relieved before that relief appearance?
2011 Game 5 against the Yankees. Came in a similar situation after Pfister in like the 7th inning, and we ended up winning Game 5 in Yankee Stadium.
Right now it's Game 1, no score. ALCS 5th inning. And a 2-2 count on Jackson. And now a full count. Had about as much action as you can have in a half inning without a team scoring a run. Peralta was thrown out at second base. And the fielder's choice hit into by Infante. He was then out on a play at the plate on a ball hit by Iglesias. Runners go on a 3-2 pitch with 2 out. That's into right center field. Victor ball back. Inning over. No score after 4.5. Max Scherzer, thanks for your time tonight. Good luck tomorrow.
All right, thanks for having me.
That's the right-hander 21-game winner, Max Scherzer. His team came close, but could not push one across. Has struck out 9. 8, 9, and 1 hitters, and a quick out to start the 5th as Middlebrooks, who made that defensive play and got the out at the plate on the ball hit by Iglesias in the top of the inning, is 0 for 2.
Teams are more inclined to swing at the first pitch when a pitcher in the middle of the game is getting you to strike out on pitches out of the strike zone. They don't want to reach that spot. That's why Middlebrooks swinging at that first strike. I think you'll see more of that through the order the next 9 hitters.
See what David Ross does. He walked his first time up. Shows bunt, takes the ball high. Talk about emotion in the game of baseball. If we were going to have the time in a different type inning, going to talk to Max Scherzer about his reaction when he came off the mound, getting out of that bases loaded, nobody out situation. That's well foul, well hit.
That was a hanger. That was a hanger.
Max, who started Game 1 of the division series, had to come out of the bullpen to help save this season, this postseason for the Tigers. That was close. Did he offer at it? No. And the count 2-1. Here's the reaction by Max Scherzer in Game 4. First guy he gave a high five to was Verlander. Those were broken fingers waiting to happen.
Then he pitched 8 innings of shutout ball the other night in Oakland with broken fingers.
Yeah, I guess he's fine. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Ross. 2-2. But you can tell just in the little bit we had a chance to talk to Scherzer. Just one of the game's really good guys.
He really is.
21-game winner, the only guy to get to the 20-win plateau this season across the big leagues. That's popped up. That's Infante, 2 out. With the bases empty, back to the top of the lineup in Ellsbury, who stranded a couple of runners his last time up. There's Max on the left. The starters tomorrow, 21-3 against 12-1.
Wow.
Buchholz.
Look at the earned run averages. 2.90 for Scherzer, 1.67 for Buchholz.
Made just 16 starts. Clay Buchholz missed 82 games on the disabled list, but he came back down the stretch, and he's pitching when it counts the most. 2 out, nobody on, and a ball to Jacoby Ellsbury.
Between pitches, Cabrera wandering in. Must be 15 feet in front of third base. Now he backs up. And here he comes again, discouraging Ellsbury from bunting.
As you said earlier in the game, Ellsbury has no problem going the other way.
No.
Cabrera backs up a bit, like he was trying to go the other way there. Count 1-2. With 2 strikes, Cabrera can go back to his normal spot. Strikeout ends the inning. A foul tip hung on to by Avila, and Ellsbury does not argue. That is 10 strikeouts for Sanchez and no hits for the Red Sox. We go to the 6th inning of game 1. Pitchers duel. Lester now back to the hill. 5 hits for Detroit, no runs. They lost a couple of runners on the bases last inning and hit into a double play earlier. They've left 4 on the night. Meanwhile, the Red Sox still looking for their first hit. That skips in. A ball and a strike on Torrey Hunter, who bounced into the double play back in the 3rd, struck out in the 1st.
Torrey Hunter, the key guy in this inning. Get him out. You pitch to Cabrera with nobody on base. Miguel has hit with nobody on base his first 2 times up.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Jammed him. Middlebrooks lays back. Gets the out. Tonight's Geico in-game box score for the Red Sox, all zeros in that left column. For the Tigers, first team in postseason history to have no hitters through 5 innings in back-to-back games. Verlander got into the 7th in game 5 of the division series. Sanchez hitless through 5 tonight. Here's Cabrera. Check swing, didn't go. Red Sox and their fans have had some complaints on check swings when they've been at the plate. It's called ball 1 on Cabrera on the check swing there. Here's a 1-0. Right down the middle. Ball and a strike. 2-1.
It's one of the reasons Cabrera is such an awesome hitter. He'll take the walk.
Pitch is down. Just watching Miguel Cabrera during batting practice and seeing him at the plate right now. I know he's not 100%. Few are at this point in the season, but he looks better than he did in that series against the A's. And he does take the walk with 1 out.
Well, one of the reasons you can tell that is he's smiling more.
I'll give you the Dodge Durango trivia question and answer. Which player holds the postseason record for consecutive games reaching base? Cabrera has reached 2 times tonight and now 30 straight during the postseason.
What do the kids say nowadays? That's just crazy.
It's cray. 1 on, 1 out. Last time Cabrera failed to reach base in a postseason game was Game 6 of the 03 World Series when he was playing for the Marlins. In that series against the Yankees, Florida won that series with Josh Beckett pitching the clincher at Yankee Stadium in Game 6. Fouled back. Big rip by Prince Fielder. The ball and a strike.
2-0 Marlins as they won their 2nd World Championship. First one in 1997 with Jim Leland, the manager. And then you talk about dissipating an organization in 1998. Torn asunder.
Here's a 1-1. Fielder gets hit. And if you didn't see it, you certainly heard it. And it's 2 on with 1 out here in the 6th.
Right tricep.
So the reaction, then a smile from Prince, who struggled last year in the World Series during that 4-game sweep by the Giants. Here's Victor Martinez. Another chance for the Tigers with a walk, a hit batsman, 2 on, 1 out. Victor's lined out. He's grounded out. You see that average, 385 during his career during the postseason with runners in scoring position.
Victor also grounded into 23 double plays this year. That's what the Red Sox are hoping for. If he hits a ground ball hard, they hope it's at somebody.
Not hard hit. Out at second and safe at first. First and third, 2 out.
That would have been a brilliant double play had it been turned. As you said, Joe, the ball was not hit hard. Drew to Pedroia, who knows that Martinez doesn't have a lot of speed to first base, and Victor is just safe.
And let's take another look. Good call by first base umpire Rob Drake. Pedroia, I mean, that's as tough a turn on a slowly hit ball with the big body of Prince Fielder bearing down on you.
Tough feed by Drew, tough turn by Pedroia, tough stretch by Napoli.
And now first and third for the guy who's in the lineup. But what he does with a bat in his hands, Johnny Peralta, 2 out. upstairs. Peralta doubled to lead off the 5th inning. Then he was out on a ball hit by Infante to Napoli. And Mike Napoli's really turned into a good defensive first baseman. Worked hard with Brian Butterfield at learning how to play the position, and they say he is Gold Glove worthy for his job over there here in 2013.
Gardy made one good play tonight by playing shallow and then throwing to get Johnny Peralta at second base. Prevent a big inning in the 5th.
Here's a 1-0. Strike one and a big swing by Peralta. Peralta suspended 50 games. When he was in the instructional league, he played short and some left field. The left fielder tonight, 1-1 pitch. 2-1. Peralta hit .352 against left-handed pitching. Played in 107 games as it turned out. Here's a 2-1. 2-2.
Feeding into Peralta's aggressiveness. Out of the strike zone, good pitch by Lester.
In the air to center field. That ball is down for a base hit. And the Tigers have the first run of game one. Peralta's 2 out of 3. Cabrera scores, and it's 1-0 Detroit.
Johnny Peralta playing in left field tonight. May be at shortstop tomorrow night, says Jim Leland. Hanging curveball. Little looper off the end of the bat to center field for the first run of this ball game.
Jim Leland telling us before the game. I know that I'm going to have to potentially answer questions if Johnny Peralta struggles in left field or makes a mistake or has trouble dealing with the Green Monster, but I'm willing to face those questions to get his bat in the lineup. And it's paid off here tonight. A 2-for-3 start to game one for Peralta, and he has the first RBI.
Something we did not know before that meeting tonight, Joe, that Johnny Peralta went down to the instructional league in Lakeland, Florida, to play left field and shortstop.
Brandon Workman, the right-hander, getting loose. Lester now dealing with Infante, who takes a strike. 2, 3, and 4 hitters for Boston in the bottom of this inning. Infante 0 for 2. Good block by Ross.
There have not been many bad pitches made by either pitcher tonight. And Johnny Peralta certainly took advantage of that high curveball. But that was a hanger from Lester to Peralta.
Pitch number 100 on the night coming up for John Lester. Strike 2.
When you're down 1-0 in the middle innings, the attitude players have, the guys that are down, is you got to score anyway.
The 1-2 pitch. That squirts away, but Ross keeps it out in front of him for a 2-2 count.
Yeah, that was
keeps
a good
the runners
play.
at first and second.
That was a good play right there. Nicely done.
It was a one-on walk to Cabrera. Fielder hit by a pitch. Red Sox almost turned a double play on a slow chopper hit by Martinez. And the 2-out RBI single by Peralta. And now a 2-2 pitch to Omar Infante. Hard hit. Middlebrooks knocks it down. Gets the out. And the inning is over. But it's the Tigers who strike first. And it's Johnny Peralta who drives home the game's first run against John Lester. 1-0 after 5 1/2. The crowd serenading the Red Sox here at the back half of the line from the Bob Marley song, Don't Worry About a Thing. Because every little thing's going to be all right. Here's a bunt attempt by Victorino right to fielder. One away. And with the bases empty, Dustin Pedroia coming up. Tonight's game is sponsored by Pizza Hut. Make it great. And by T-Mobile. Unleash.
Funny you say that, Joe, because John Farrell telling us that the slogan in the dugout of the Red Sox is find a way. And if they do find a way, they're going to do it against a guy who has 10 strikeouts and has retired 11 in a row.
Over but low, ball 1 to Pedroia, who has walked and flied to center. Red Sox still do not have a hit. After Pedroia, it's Ortiz. Masterful performance by Sanchez through 5 1/3.
You know, in reading the clips before every game, one comment about Sanchez hit me really hard. Reads hitters well. You don't think he's not reading Boston hitters tonight? They can't pick up his changeup or his slider. And then when they think, well, he'll get behind, boom, he throws a fastball for a strike. I'll say he reads hitters well.
A lot of check swings. They're not seeing the ball well.
Yeah.
2-1 to Pedroia. Outside, 3-1. Fourth walk of the night with David Ortiz coming up. Time for the T-Mobile player profile. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Nationwide data is going global with coverage in over 100 countries at no extra charge. Red Sox postseason franchise leader in the important categories. Home runs, RBIs. He has hit 14 career postseason home runs. He's also been clutch. Out in front. Nubs it foul, strike 1. All those battles with the Yankees in the ALCS in 2003, 2004, there was nobody at times more clutch than David Ortiz as Albuquerque gets loose.
Taking us back to the 2004 LCS, when the Red Sox came back from being 3 down and beat the Yankees for the first time in baseball history, when a team came back from a 3-0 deficit and won 4 in a row. And then for good measure, they won 4 in a row in the World Series. to win their first world championship since 1918.
And the guy at the plate is the only player left from that team that broke the 86-year curse in 2004 when they won it all, clinching it in St. Louis. Runner goes, comes back, and 2 strikes on Ortiz.
And Pedroia, you can see it in his face. He's mad he stopped. He was giving a fake break. He went too far and should have kept going because he had a good jump. Remember, 25 of 26 against Sanchez this year, and 1 in this game. You could see the look of that look on Dustin's face tells everything.
Two on Ortiz. That gets away, and Pedroia down to second.
We talked about Anibal Sanchez reading hitters well. Well, Pedroia read this one well. A wild pitch. Good base running by Pedroia, immediately taking off.
Second of the night by Sanchez. So the tying run at second, 1 out. Smiley, the left-hander, joining Albuquerque, the right-hander. Out beyond the wall and right. Pitch number 99 for Sanchez tonight. Keeps it 1-2. No drop in velocity. That 195 from Anibal Sanchez. Struck him out. 2 out in the inning. And strikeout number 11.
Five pitches. And remember that line about Sanchez. Reads hitters well. 0-2 now to Ortiz. Lays off the wild pitch, fouls one off, and went too far. Throws pitches that look like strikes but aren't.
Now it's up to Mike Napoli. Former catcher, now a first baseman. Ball 1 up and in. Napoli said he's not felt this fresh at the end of the season in the big leagues. A lot of the load taken off him. Switching to first base defensively from behind home plate. Was diagnosed with a degenerative hip condition on each side. Cost him 2 guaranteed years and some money. Signed a 1-year deal. Red Sox have had a lot of production from Napoli. They were so good in the postseason for the Rangers back in 2011. Counts 2-0. Good fastball from Sanchez. Strike one.
That surprised everybody with first base open, a 2-0 fastball to a fastball hitter with Daniel Nava on deck. So far, Sanchez, a magician on the mound today.
The inside corner, 2-2.
Two fastballs in a row.
Avila doing a nice job behind home plate as well, guiding Sanchez through this game one. Napoli has struck out twice tonight. It was 2-0, now 2-2. Tying run at second. And now a full count.
If you're thinking along with him, you almost have to think backwards because he's pitching backwards. Breaking balls and change-ups behind in the count. Take a chance, look for it, and pop it. Former catcher at the plate.
Two on, two out. 5 walks to go with the 11 strikeouts and no hits. And here comes Jeff Jones. Nava will be the hitter. Our game summary brought to you by Liberty Mutual. Sanchez trying to go hitless through 6. Second pitcher in postseason history. You have to go back to 1908 to find the first one. With 4 strikeouts in an inning that happened in the first and set the tone. Johnny Peralta has 2 hits tonight, including the only RBI. The only extra base hit for that matter. But because of the pitching of John Lester, it's only a 1-0 game. And Nava would like to change that. Pedroia and Napoli the runners. Down and in, swung on and missed.
Wonder how many pitches the Red Sox have swung that have been swung at, that have been out of the strike zone tonight. I'd say more than half without knowing. We find out that it's about half.
The 0-1 pitch. Nava came up in 2010, his only home run that year. It was a grand slam he hit in his major league debut. Junichi Tozawa getting loose for the Red Sox in their pen now.
Yeah, first pitch. What a thrill.
Nava spent all of 2011 in the minor leagues, part of 2012. Established himself really this year, hitting .303. 8th best average in the American League, and it's up to him here in the 6th. Ball 2.
Good play of Vila. The breaking ball, for the most part, is easy to block in the dirt, but not the fastball, because you're not anticipating it being in the dirt. Breaking balls you are, so you go down with it.
Ball 3. The lefty Smiley getting loose. The left-handed hitting shortstop Stephen Drew on deck. That'll load him up. And now a decision for Jim Leland.
Take a pitcher out of a no-hitter. It's early enough to where it wouldn't be an issue in the 6th. If you let it wait until the 7th, it might be. Maybe.
But at this pace, 111 pitches already pitching in the 6th. We're miles away from that kind of a night. It's up to Stephen Drew to season high 6 walks to add to that pitch count for Sanchez.
Well, do you want Smiley pitching to Bogarts or Sanchez pitching to Drew? I think that's why Jim Leland is staying with Sanchez.
Getting to work out of the windup. Ball 1 outside.
One of the few hittable pitches this evening by the Red Sox. That was hittable. Sanchez finally gives in with a fastball when Drew was looking for it, and he fouls it back.
Strike 2. And so now a guy who has walked 6 but struck out 11, and a guy who has walked the bases loaded in a 1-run game here in the 6th inning has Stephen Drew set up at 1-2. Last Red Sox grand slam during postseason play was hit by Stephen's older brother J.D. Game 6. Of the 07 ALCS. That will get out of play.
That was the ALCS when the Red Sox trailed the Cleveland Indians 3-1. And the Sox came back and won 3 in a row, highlighted by JD's grand slam.
Another 1-2. A strikeout ends the inning. Sanchez celebrates after strikeout number 12. And the Red Sox now, even without a hit, have stranded 6. What a start to this ALCS. Sanchez and the Tigers lead the Red Sox by 1.
You think I look out of place?
You look good for 200.
Fooling Red Sox hitters from the beginning. He struck out a dozen. He's walked half a dozen. He's allowed no hits and leads 1-0 through 6. And we showed you the emotion of Max Scherzer going back to the dugout in Game 4 of the division series. Plenty of it from Sanchez here in Game 1 of the ALCS. Lester back to work, trying to bunt his way on as Avila strike 1. 7th inning now. Both the Red Sox and the Tigers have sent the same number of hitters to the plate through the first 6. 8, 9, and 1. The hitters for each side to start the 7th. Tozawa still getting loose. A couple of right-handers to follow Avila.
Tell you what's rare, Joe, is to see the shift by a left-handed pitcher throwing to a left-handed hitter. Guy who hit only .227 this year. That's unusual. Those left-handed batters against left-handed pitchers are more inclined to go the other way anyway. So a guy like Avila, this is very unusual. And obviously the Red Sox have all that mapped out against a guy like John Lester. But I'm surprised at that.
The 1-2 pitch goes the other way, and he hits it right at Will Middlebrooks, playing in the typical shortstop position. The third baseman makes the catch, 1 out.
My reply to that is Stephen Drew could have done this. As long as you get the out. That is so true, though. Left-handed batters are more inclined to go the other way against left-handers than right-handers.
Now Drew back in his spot. Middlebrooks back at third. Iglesias at the plate. Strike 1. Jose is 0 for 2. He's flying to right, bounced into a fielder's choice when Infante was thrown out at the plate back in the 5th. Strike 2. Bullpen busy for each side. Now it's Breslow. Here's the 0-2. That got Iglesias on the foot. And he'll go down to first base with 1 out. With Jackson coming up.
Little breaking ball, and Iglesias had already been in his stride. Hits him right on the end of his left toes.
Second hit batsman. Funny thing is, Tozawa had taken a seat out in the bullpen.
Yeah.
He got up immediately when Iglesias was hit. Starts to loosen again, and he'll be in the game. Lester taken out here in the 7th. There's the night for John Lester. 109 pitches on the night, 6 1/3 innings, and he gives way to Tozawa. Just to go back to that first out of the inning, the Red Sox left Drew in his normal spot and moved Middlebrooks all the way over to the other side of the diamond. And so that was Drew that caught that ball at short.
Yeah, I thought it was Middlebrooks too.
And Middlebrooks was over in the second base spot. Pedroia was tucked into shallow right. There's Middlebrooks at the typical second base spot. And Pedroia to his left, our right. And so it is a line drive caught by the shortstop. Then the hit by pitch. Now to Zawa. And he misses down and away with a 93-mile-an-hour fastball to Austin Jackson. Ball one. There are the numbers during the regular season for Tazawa. And a team that had to really remake its bullpen. And it became such a strength. With Uehara closing, Tazawa and Breslow setting up with help from Workman. Became a real force for John Farrell. Good popping fastball from Tazawa, strike one. Breslow still getting loose. But it's Tazawa on the mound. 1 on, 1 out, and a 1-1 pitch. Down and away. 2-1. Lester's night is finished. So far, 1 run on 6 hits. 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 hit batsmen through 6 1/3. Runner goes, and a foul back by Austin Jackson.
That's a good play by Jim Leland, because often a guy who strikes out a lot, and Austin Jackson has struck out 14 times during the postseason. This, the Tigers' 5th game. Often that will get a guy zeroed in on the baseball. He doesn't try to do too much, doesn't swing from his heels. Don't think he'll be running here, but if it gets to 3-2, same thing, I would think.
Now it's 2-2. That's foul. On deck is Torrey Hunter, then Cabrera, then a left-handed batter. Although John Farrell has no issue with Craig Breslow facing right-handed hitters.
No, he thinks Craig Breslow is as good as there is in the American League. Lefty against a right-handed batter. Great changeup.
Runner goes again. Ground ball to third. Middlebrooks makes the play. 2 out. And now at second is Iglesias with Hunter coming up. Middlebrooks will lead off for the Red Sox in the bottom of the inning. Then David Ross. Then Jacoby Ellsbury. Top of the 7th inning. 1-0 Tigers on top. Fly ball into right, well hit. Back is Victorino. In front of the truck. He makes the catch. Hunter gave it a ride. Victorino ran it down. And Tazawa comes in out of the bullpen and shuts down the top of the 7th. Still a 1-0 game. Tigers on top. In game 1, Albuquerque coming in. The night for Sanchez is over. He leaves up 1.
Both Maxwell and Ted have hail damage.
Try and change what's been going on, which is dominance by the Tigers, and in the case of Sanchez, no hits through 6. John Farrell goes to his bench, and Carp takes a strike. 9 home runs during the regular season. Got really hot during the middle part of the year. Ended up hitting .296. One ball, one strike. Broken back. Iglesias gets the out. So one pinch hitter retired to start the 7th inning, and now coming off the bench.
Bench hitting for Ross, number 39, Jared.
Saltalamacchia will come off the bench and back for David Ross. Ross's night ends 0 for 1 with a walk and a pop-up. Albuquerque throwing hard, finds strike 1.
Throwing hard with that sinker to left-handed batters and a slider that keeps on sliding. Big breaking slider from Albuquerque. That's how he got caught.
Saltalamacchia out in front of that pitch, and the count 0-2. The Red Sox led baseball during the regular season, scoring 853 runs. Led it by a wide margin. Nothing tonight. Strike 3 called. And down goes Saltalamacchia.
Jared looking for something else. A good fastball. Tailing over the inside part of the plate. Albuquerque looks sharp.
Now Ellsbury 0 for 3. We came on the air talking about, Tim, these top 3 hitters in the lineup and how maybe more than any other team those guys set the table, do damage. Ellsbury, Victorino, Pedroia, they are hitless tonight. 0 for 7 with 2 walks. Ball 1 to Ellsbury. The 1-0. Check swing. It's 2-0. And the crowd appreciative to get a check swing go their way.
I think Alex Avila wanted the pitch to begin with, and when he didn't get the pitch, he wanted the swing through. Nothing doing.
The count 2-0. The count 3-0.
Well, you know if he gets on, stealing 52 bases in 56 tries, he will be running. Just a matter of which pitch.
Three and 1. Heart of the order will bat for Detroit in the 8th. Cabrera, Fielder, Martinez. Full count. Ellsbury started to head down to first.
Albuquerque and the Tigers got away with the low fastball for a strike. Then that could be a big pitch in this ball game.
You bet it is. A strikeout ends the inning. Back-to-back strikeouts as Albuquerque picks up where Sanchez left off. 1-0 Detroit after 7.
John Farrell about with Craig Breslow. I didn't know whether he was turning that pitch over or just a straight change. And John said it was just a changeup. And it is a good one. He can pinpoint it, too, to right-handed batters.
A 1-2 pitch upstairs. When that 3-1 pitch was called a strike on Jacoby Ellsbury in the bottom of the 7th inning, the crowd reacted. So did the on-deck hitter Shane Victorino. The conversations continued on during the break. Here's a 2-2. Fly ball into right. Victorino, who was a part of it, makes the play, 1 out. Here's the 3-1 pitch called for strike 2 against Ellsbury. He thought he had walked. Shane Victorino is in the on-deck circle. And then after the inning was over, Joe West, John Farrell talked, because Victorino, you could see Joe West say, just go to right field.
Yeah.
And let's end this discussion as fielder who's already been hit by a pitch gets out of the way of ball 1.
Well, the interesting part of that is Victorino leads off the bottom of the 8th inning. But the reason we said that could be a big pitch in this game is obviously if Ellsbury gets on and he has stolen 52 of 56 during the regular season this year, then he would be a threat to run. And if he ran, he'd be in scoring position perhaps for either Victorino, Dustin Pedroia, or Big Papi.
Here's a 2-0. 2-1. And the crowd now reacting with every ball and strike call made by Joe West, who's umpiring at his 8th LCS. Here's a 2-1. Inside, 3-1. Shane Victorino was pleading his case, trying to explain his part of it to Dan Iasonia, who's the right field umpire here in game 1. On his way back out to right. Here's a 3-1 to fielder, fouled away, full count. Breslow got Cabrera and now walks Prince Fielder. 1 on, 1 out. Victor Martinez coming up. MLB Fan Cave is coming back in 2014. Players, celebrities, concerts, and more. You can be part of next season's team. Go to MLBFancave.com and apply right now. Second walk handed out to the Tigers. Lester was good. 6 1/3, 1 run, 6 hits. 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, 2 hit batsmen. He's on the hook because he was matched up with Anibal Sanchez tonight. Hitless through 6. Albuquerque a scoreless 7th. There's a strike to Victor Martinez. Strike 2.
That was that pitch we were talking about, that pitch that Breslow can pinpoint to right-handed batters, that low and away zone. great control of that changeup.
So Jose Veras getting ready for the Tigers in their bullpen. Here's the 0-2. Martinez flies it into left. 2 out. Nava puts it away. Back to first is Fielder. Tonight on Fox Sports Live, they'll have complete highlights and analysis from this game. From NLCS game number 2. Hard hit down the line, fair ball. Into the corner, and now it goes up into the seats, and that'll be a ground rule double. Hopped out of play for a moment, then back in play. And it's a double for Johnny Peralta, who was the hitting hero for the Tigers in Game 4 of the division series, and tonight 3 out of 4.
Game 4 of the division series, he had the 3-run home run in the 5th inning of Game 4 to tie it, and now he's being taken out for a pinch runner, and what a night he has had. He has been the offensive difference in this ball game.
Ramon Santiago comes in to run. It was spectator interference down the left field line, and after it hit that first fan, it hopped into the seats, then back into the field of play. So a double for Peralta. He's out. And with second and third, 2 out, the batter is Infante. And conversation on the mound. You've got first base open. You've got a left-handed batter to follow. This Tuesday, don't miss an all-new episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. The new Fox Comedy Entertainment Weekly raves is hilarious. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, all new this Tuesday.
To me, that's a pretty easy call in this situation.
And they do. So 2 walks, a double in the inning. Avila, the next scheduled hitter.
One thing I do not understand, why Ramon Santiago is the pinch runner at second base instead of putting Dan Kelly or Andy Dirks or Don Kelly. Don Kelly would probably be the left fielder in the 8th inning. And if he is, then you waste a player in Santiago. Santiago's not that fast a player. Kelly's faster than Santiago. So we'll have to ask Jim Leland about that tomorrow.
Right now it's Avila with the bases loaded, 2 out. Facing the left-hander Breslow. Avila 1 for 3. Ball 1. First postseason for Breslow. Got 5 outs over 3 different innings in the decisive Game 4 in the win in Tampa Bay. Now in Game 1. Here's a 1-0. Avila turns on it, but yanks it foul. Strike 1. Victorino, Pedroia, Ortiz for the Red Sox in the bottom of this 8th. Workman up for the 2nd time in this game. Here's a 1-1. Ball 2. A 3-1 count on Avila. Bases loaded, 2 out.
Good hitting position for Alex Avila,
who hit .227 during the regular season. Into center field, back is Ellsbury. Inning over. And now the Tigers in game 1 have stranded 10. Big bats coming up for the Red Sox in the bottom of the 8th, down 1-0 in game 1. Ball 1. We showed you what transpired between Victorino and Joe West. That's Victorino with words on his way to the plate here. There's a strike from Veras. Taking the blame for what happened and trying to settle that issue down if it needed it. Victorino has struck out twice and grounded out. And now in the hole, 1-2. Victorino, then Pedroia, then Ortiz.
Tell you, Joe, this is a 1-run ball game, but it seems like it's 9-8 instead of 1-0.
And runners all over the bases.
Yeah.
Tigers have stranded 10. Red Sox 6. Another strikeout. 15 on the night. And 1 out here in the 8th.
12 by Sanchez. Albuquerque had 2, and now Jose Veras with the slider that keeps on sliding. Actually a curveball and a good one from Veras.
15 strikeouts by Red Sox hitters, the most ever in a postseason game for Boston. Good tailing fastball at 95 from Veras. Strike 1 to Pedroia, who was walked twice. 2 of the 6 walks given to the Red Sox tonight. Here's the 0-1. Went around, strike 2.
Boy, those are wicked curveballs Veras is featuring to Victorino and Pedroia.
Pedroia set up at 0-2. On the outside corner, and now Pedroia reacts as he's out number 2 in the 8th.
Now, Pedroia is asking somebody in the on-deck circle, it's probably Big Papi, and he wanted to know if the pitch was low or not. It was not low, but did it come back on the plate? Close pitch.
Now Jim Leland out of the dugout after Veras comes in, strikes out Victorino and Pedroia. Leland's going to go back to his bullpen. The left-hander Smiley's coming into the ball game. A frustrating night for the Boston Red Sox because of the Detroit pitching. Smiley coming in. Big Papi David Ortiz coming up. 6-0, great ERA. 63 games facing David Ortiz. Shift is on the infield. Showed bunt, took a strike. Ortiz has struck out twice tonight. Grounded out back in the 3rd. 2 out, nobody on. Bottom of the 8th. Right side foul. Strike 2. Good numbers for Ortiz against Smiley. Jose Veras, who started the season with the Astros, closing games with 2 strikeouts here in the 8th. And now Smiley trying to finish off 8 hitless innings. The Tiger pitching, Red Sox hitting. Ortiz steps up.
I know what Red Sox fans are thinking right now. The monster is beckoning.
Ball 1 to Ortiz. 30 home runs during the regular season, 14 during his career in the postseason. Foul tip. Ortiz stays alive. Two and 2. This is the 78th game for the Red Sox in their postseason history in this park. Been shut out once. 1918 World Series. That's up and away. A full count. Benoit in the bullpen. Napoli on deck. Crowd to its feet.
All fastballs to Ortiz.
Easy play in center for Jackson. And the Red Sox have been held hitless through 8. And game 1 goes into the 9th inning. Tigers lead it 1-0. Who has turned into an absolute lights out shutdown closer for the Red Sox takes over. Look at the numbers. The ERA, the walks to strikeouts, only 2 blown saves. Red Sox had Hanrahan, they had Bailey. Uehara has taken over because of injury to the first 2. And he's been phenomenal.
Staggering.
Iglesias first up. And a dangerous foul ball right side as the count goes to 0-2. Jose hit by a pitch in the 7th. He's 0 for 2. Austin Jackson will follow, then Torrey Hunter for the Tigers, who lead 1-0 in the 9th inning.
No such thing as a waste pitch for Uehara. He doesn't waste anything. One strike after another.
And if the description for Sanchez was reads hitters well, it applies to Uehara.
Boy, that's a very good point.
John Farrell, his manager, Tim, said that he just outthinks the guy in the box.
He has got a feel for that position. That was the split. Really, he has 2 pitches, a fastball that's about 91 miles an hour, and a split that does 3 things. It goes away from a left-hander, down into a right-hander.
Going down to get it is Iglesias. He's got a base hit into center. We came into this game talking about how, because of the Red Sox ending their series in 4 games, they could set up the rotation the way they wanted, with Lester starting game 1 because it went 5 for the Tigers. They're kind of backward.
Right.
But for Detroit now, you get a win tonight with Lester on the mound. That's big with what's coming up.
Things become gripping, to say the least, because the Red Sox started their best pitcher tonight and the Tigers didn't. So if they lose, if Lester loses, then you've got Scherzer and Verlander the next 2 games, and those guys are no picnic, and everybody in baseball knows that.
Scherzer a 21-game winner. Verlander is Verlander.
Cy Young Award winner in 2011. Scherzer 21-3 this year.
Here's Jackson trying to bunt. Bunts it foul. The matchup tomorrow night at 8 Eastern is Clay Buchholz against Max Scherzer. Travel day on Monday, game 3. John Lackey against Justin Verlander, who was not only the Cy Young in 2011, but the MVP as well. And there's the pitching matchup tomorrow night. 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central. After doubleheader action, Fox NFL Sunday, including the Patriots at home against the Saints.
You know, I'm still trying to digest, as we were talking about Lester and Scherzer and Verlander, how Iglesias hit that pitch from Uehara. Ball was under the plate, for crying out loud.
He's on to start this 9th inning. That's upstairs, and Jackson strikes out, 1 away.
Said Uehara only throws a 91-mile-an-hour fastball, but he jumps at the hitter. Talking about hitters not picking up a pitcher. That's the case with American League hitters and Uehara for the better part of this year.
Now Torrey Hunter 1 on 1 out. Jackson could not advance the runner. Iglesias. Hunter hitless tonight, 0 for 4. What has never happened in the history of postseason baseball is a combined no-hitter. There also has not been a no-hitter thrown in the postseason on the road. Here's a shot into the corner off the bat of Torrey Hunter. Going to third is Iglesias. They're going to hold him on a double by the Tiger right fielder Torrey Hunter. And 2 big runs sitting out there for Detroit here in the 9th.
So that brings up an interesting situation because of Cabrera's bad hip and abdomen. He was taken out of the game. He would be the hitter right now, but now it's Don Kelly. And you just go get Don Kelly. Don, by the way, a very good bunter. Squeeze a possibility, but with runners on at second and third, I think Jim Leland will opt to allow Kelly to hit the ball. Infield in for the Red Sox.
Infield is in for the play at the plate. Second and third, 1 out. Uehara. Strike 1 on Kelly on that splitter. First at bat for Don Kelly. On deck, Prince Fielder. Strike 2. And Kelly hasn't been close on either of the first 2 pitches.
Invisible splitters. The second one.
And a huge strikeout for Uehara.
Wasting nothing. 2 splitters, a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
And now you've got Prince Fielder.
And you pitch to him with
with Martinez on deck. You're aware first base is open, but you still pitch to Fielder.
Protection for Fielder with Victor Martinez, the DH, behind him. Iglesias able to come way down the line because Bogarts is so far away from third base. I mean, he was halfway to the plate when that pitch was delivered. Stays closer this time on strike one. Here's the first pitch.
That's alert base running by a young base runner too. Short pass ball, wild pitch. He could try to score.
Strike two on Fielder. In the air to center. Tough play, Drew. Over his shoulder. Has it to end the inning. And then he throws it into the seats over the Green Monster. What a play by Stephen Drew. Wow. Able to hang on and keep it a one-run game. Drama, maybe history, coming up in the bottom of the ninth. Strike two.
Boy, that's a high, tight, low and away combination right there. Fastball up and in, slider low and away for strikes.
16 strikeouts tonight for Tiger pitching. The 0-2. Good rip. Good fastball from Benoit. Got him one away. 17 strikeouts for the Tigers.
Strike one, strike two, foul ball back, and a slider for strike three. All taken by Napoli.
Now the batter, Daniel Nava. Nava struck out twice tonight and walked. Only one potential postseason no-hitter was broken up in the ninth inning, and you have to go back to 1947. Bill Bevins pitching game 4 for the Yankees at Brooklyn with 2 out in the ninth. Pinch hitter Cookie Lavagetto doubled home 2 runners. Both guys had walked. Bevins loses the ball game.
Yogi Berra behind the plate. Yogi has told me it made him very happy.
Here's the 0-1. Ball and a strike. .96 from Benoit. It's 1-2.
That pitcher's mound's contagious right now.
A good swing by Nava to keep it 1-2. Game 1 of the ALCS, 1-0. Tigers leading. The guy on deck, Stephen Drew, just made a fantastic catch to keep it a one-run game in the top of this ninth.
If he drops that ball, it's 3-0 Detroit. How did he not drop it?
Almost able to hang on, and Nava waits for a 1-2 pitch with one out in the bottom of the ninth. Benoit evolved into the closer for the Tigers. At times he can be a white knuckle closer. But he has filled a need for Dave Dombrowski and the Tigers and Jim Leland getting the final outs in a ball game. Trying to save game 1 of the ALCS. Pretty good at bat by Nava. Center, base hit. The no-hitter is over. And the tying run is on for the Red Sox in the ninth.
And a pinch runner for Nava. We talked about how feisty he was earlier. And now he has scratched and clawed his way to the top, batting over 300. No wonder he has this reaction.
Quentin Berry takes over at first base for Nava.
He's gone.
And he gets a look from Benoit.
He has never been caught in his major league career. 24 for 24. He had a stolen base against Tampa Bay in the division series. Last year, where was he? Detroit.
Tigers allowed 128 stolen bases, third most in baseball this year. Ball one way outside. This is still a one-run game because of this effort on a flare off the bat of Prince Fielder, caught by Stephen Drew in the top of this ninth.
But what a remarkable play by Drew.
There's a tying run. One out. Benoit hasn't shown Berry anything with regard to a move over to first base.
Jim Leland saying about Berry, he can run and he's really good at it, stealing bases.
It's the only reason why he's on the roster.
Right.
2-0.
Sometimes not running causes more problems than running. 2 balls, no strikes now. And here comes Jeff Jones, the pitching coach. You know what he's going to say. He's going to run anyway. Throw a strike. But one thing you don't want to do is walk, have runners on at first and second and one out, and then have Berry perhaps steal third.
The visit is over. It's Drew at the plate with a 2-0 count. And the young 21-year-old Xander Bogaerts on deck. Only man left on the bench for John Farrell, Johnny Gomes. In the air to right center. Caught by Torrey Hunter, 2 out.
Talk about a visit to the mound that paid dividends. Jeff Jones, the pitching coach of the Tigers, went out and said, throw strikes. Don't worry about Berry. He did and got the fly ball.
And now it's Xander Bogaerts. Only 21 years old from Aruba. He's shown remarkable patience even within this postseason. Tying run at first. Berry has not taken off yet.
When Berry stole that base against Tampa Bay, he left on the first pitch, and obviously successful. Now you've got a right-hander up there, and it's easier for Avila to throw than it was with Drew up there.
Ball one inside. Bogaerts started the year at Double-A. Called up in August. Had a big walk in the 7th inning of Game 4 in Tampa Bay. And with 2 out in the tying run at first, he's the man in the spotlight for Boston. There goes Berry. Throw down. Not in time. Stolen base and able to stay on the bag.
That was the key, Joe, because he almost, going in head first, almost slid by the bag. Avila doing everything he can, but the left foot stayed on the bag, and Barry wasn't follow tagged by Iglesias. He tried.
Tying run at second, 2 out. 1-1 to Xander Bogaerts. Xander's teammate Johnny Gomes said about Bogaerts and his patience this game between the white lines, it hides your age, your draft status, your contract. Right now it's up to Bogaerts and Benoit to determine who takes game 1 of this ALCS. Veteran against rookie. Two and two, and the Tigers are a strike away. Bogaerts the last 2 years has participated in Major League Baseball's futures game. During the All-Star break, his future arrives here tonight in game 1, trying to tie it with a hit. On the 12th of October. And now a visit from Avila.
When pitchers throw splitters, they're more apt to go through the legs of catchers. So it puts a lot of pressure on a guy like Avila, but you've got to throw or call for his best pitch, even at the peril of a ball getting away from you.
Full count. On deck, Saltalamacchia. Popped up, should end it. Iglesias waits. Tigers win game 1. It's never happened before. 2 1-0 games. Same day in LCS play. And here tonight, it took 8 1/3 innings for the Red Sox to get their first hit. But Benoit closes it out. He gets the save for Anibal Sanchez, who gets the victory with 6 hitless innings, 12 strikeouts in a 3-hour, 56-minute, 1-0 game.
Against the best offensive team in the American League, the Boston Red Sox. What a job by the Detroit pitchers this evening.
1 run, 9 hits, no errors for Detroit. They left 12. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error for Boston. They strand 7. And let's go down to Aaron Andrews with a hitting start tonight.
Joe, thanks so much. Here with Johnny Peralta. The hot hitting in the postseason continues for you. 3 for 4 with an RBI. What's been the difference for you, Johnny, since you returned to this lineup?
You know, I working really hard. You know, I'm in Dominican Republic for a little bit, and I try to working every day. You know, and try to be ready for the playoff. You know, when they call me, and try to be ready.
You know, we almost saw a little bit of history tonight with the combined no-hitter, the first one in postseason. Your pitchers only gave up a hit. How would you describe the staff's performance tonight on the mound?
I mean, the pitcher doing really good today. You know, Sanchez pitched a really good game, and Lester too. You know, we need to give credit to Lester. He's doing pretty good. But it's unbelievable today with the pitcher. You know, they make a good pitch.
All right, thanks so much for your time, Joe.
All right, Aaron, thank you. And our final score here again tonight, 1-0. The Tigers win it. And it was Sanchez for 6. Albuquerque for 1. Veras for 2/3. Smiley for a 1/3. Benoit finished it. And a win for Detroit at Fenway Park in Game 1. Back after this.